Soipan, you can proceed to answer or respond to those.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We'll start with a question by the Honorable Nelson Koech on the Mau Forest, the plight of the evictees. I know it's the subject of a court ruling that was made recently, but I must state that just like I said, in the process of conserving our environment, we must not forget the plight of Kenyans affected by certain actions that happen. Kenya is right in step with regards to the international standards on evictions and what to do with people affected by such evictions. And these are Kenyans, even from a human rights perspective, who still have a dignity bestowed upon them. And I will not talk much about it. I don't know if the case is a subject of appeal, but it definitely is a matter that we cannot close our eyes to in terms of the plight of the affected communities. Honorable Hamisi, I will make sure to keep my hands off the public coffers, so that if I ever get vetted by any such committee of parliament, that my file remains clean. On the global discourse around climate change, yes, Kenya is signatory to the Paris Agreement and the attendant Kyoto Protocol. We have so many other multilateral environmental agreements that Kenya is party to. Actually, the ministry has a fully fledged department that deals with multilateral environmental agreements. They come with a number of obligations and frameworks for engagement of Kenya with the globe, with the nations of the globe. From my past experience as a lawyer and having worked in various capacities with international and regional fora, I'm going to make sure that Kenyans gain maximally from each and every instrument, regional or international, that we sign to ensure complete domestication according to the Constitution. Honorable Dido Raso, the question of conservancies and the uncoordinated manner of conservancies, I think this is an area which falls squarely on my colleague in the docket of tourism and wildlife, because the conservancies are not actually under the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. But I always struggle between where does the conservation of the environment start and where does that of conservation and management of our wildlife start. I mean, they are very closely linked. That I know that in the course of my duty, once confirmed for this, I will have to confront such matters, because it is conservancies are everything to do with the environment. Conservancies and wildlife are actually about it's about conservation, and so I will endeavor to engage with my counterpart once confirmed in the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife to look into the issues that you have raised, because indeed there has to be coordination to make sure that any new models of conservation are in step with the need for good governance and sustainability, taking into account the interests of the conservancy adjacent communities. On the question of the Marsabit National Park, again, the question of human-wildlife conflict is a menace that is affecting our communities. The need to actualize the law on compensation. I will not delve much into that again because it is not within my docket, but I know I will be confronting that, and at the ministerial level, I would be keenly interested even to work closely with a colleague in charge of that particular area of concern. The Honorable Mukami, high population growth in our urban areas and the establishment of industries some very harmful. We are currently confronted with a number of litigation around effects of environmentally unfriendly industrial developments that have happened in residential areas. This squarely falls under the National Environmental Management Agency, under my docket, and it is a question of really looking at the effectiveness of the processes that